Bevy Smith, your host of Bevelations, and I'm here with three supreme divine divas, darling. I'm talking about Aunjanue Ellis Taylor, Sanaa Lathan, and Aduba, and they are here for their new phenomenal film that's #1 on Hulu.
That's
The
right.
Supremes and All All You Can Eat. Yes.
That's right.
Welcome to Bevelations, my love.
Thank you for
Thank you for
having
having
us.
I'm
us.
so happy to have you guys here.
Thank
So let me
you.
just tell y'all about the film, as if y'all been starring.
Please tell
For
us.
me, I laughed, I cried, and I connected because I have a crew called the 80s Ladies, and we've been friends for 3 decades. You guys trump us because y'all been friends for 4 decades in the film. But when I'm watching it, I'm reminded by the sisterhood and by the love affair that sisterhood can be. So let's talk a little bit about that and about the connection of true sisterhood, and that open it up to any of you fabulous ladies.
Yeah, I feel that sometimes friends can be different kinds of soulmates. They, if you break up with a friend, it can be just as devastating as, getting a divorce. If you're having drama with a friend, it can give you just as much angst as somebody you're in a relationship with. Like, one of the things I loved about this movie is that it really is an homage to those great friendships, those lifelong, unconditional friends, those friends that'll tell you the truth, those friends that, when you fall or you don't want to go on, they pick you up. And, it's just a celebration of that. And, we all understand that.
Yeah. I think also like those friendships, like the beauty of great sister friends, as I call it, is like the spirit of truth that comes with that. And that's the telling you what you need to hear with love, for your betterment, but also being unafraid to lift you up in those moments where you deserve to receive those flowers. They love on you hard. And I even think the breakup of those type of friendships might, dare I say, be even harder to go through than traditional breakups, because the love is just it's to the bone, it's to the core, the marrow of your spirit in a different way that threads through so many different parts and aspects of your life that traditional intimate relationships maybe don't always do.
And I think because you expect your sisterhood friendship to be kind of long lasting because you feel like that person knows you. You can be your most vulnerable self with your sister friends. Like, you might share a lot with your man, but your sister friends, you feel like you can lay it bare, especially when you've been friends for decades on decades on decades. Which brings us to the truth teller and the supreme story. Oh, Miss Clarice, baby, you tell it like a TIS throughout the film, but then you also have to deal with some hard truths about yourself. You're the epitome of check on your strong friends.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
that is so true.
Right?
That part.
Yeah, that part. And we've not known each other for long, but what I do see about you is a beautiful, quiet grace and the strength that you have, the way you comport yourself in life. But what did you connect with about Clarice and that
It's
friendship?
Odette.
I mean,
My
sorry,
girl down there
Odette.
is
Sorry.
Clarice.
Yes. So, guys, mistake. She's Odette. So, what did you
Yes.
connect about with the Odette character?
Yeah, I love that. That she's this rock, but on the inside it is just fragility. But she can't be fragile.
Yeah.
At least public facing, because she has to hold everybody up. She literally is the foundation for these, incredible women in her life. But the thing about someone like Odette and Barbara Jean and Clarice is that their significance goes beyond their relationship. They are building a community. And that's what's in the film. They're holding up a community. And someone like Odette feels like, I got to keep it together, because if I don't keep it together, everybody else falls apart. So I feel like, it's certainly my own life. I've done that thing where it's like, I don't take care of myself. you know, because somebody else has to be taken care of, you know. And I think it's great to see a film like this for Black women,
Black
particularly.
women.
Come on,
We've
now.
been doing that for centuries.
Yes,
There you
yes.
go.
Come on, nursemaid, mammy, all the
Yeah.
things.
All the
And
things.
for us to just kind of lay our burdens down
Mm-hmm.
is a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
And to be able to lay them down at the feet of your sister is even more
Mhm.
impactful.
Yes, indeed.
Especially
Yeah.
in these very trying times right now that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
But sisters are up right now, right? Am I
All
right?
the way up.
Yes,
All the way
That's
up.
right.
Yes, yes,
All the way
All
up.
the way up to the White House.
All the way up to the White House.
Come
Indeed,
on.
indeed.
Let's
That's
speak
right.
it. Let's speak it into
That's right.
existence.
Well, that's what we're doing. And again, it's such a great film for this time because the more things change, the more they stay the same. Because in the film we're examining, it's because it's the flashbacks, the younger Supremes when they're in their teens, and it's the 1960s, and they're dealing with racial strife. They're dealing with women didn't have the right to choose, and now again we don't have the right to choose. And also just dealing with career versus marriage and what does all of that mean. So it's a very timely film for right now.
Yeah.
And Tina Mabry, your director, did such a phenomenal job. What was it like working with Tina as a female director and for such a women-centric film? Do you feel like there was a real significant difference?
Yeah. For me, she was, first of all, it's really sad in 2024 that you can say it. Like it's probably worked in my 30-year career, like 3 Black women.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Gina Prince Bythewood was one of them. And then it was Tembi Banks who just did that Sundance movie, and then now Tina. And Tina is wonderful because she's from the South and she's a great writer. She has a great sense of humor. And what I got from her is that she really understood these characters. She knows this world. And she really had a different kind of sensitivity that I have never experienced with a director. We had to go through a lot as actors in this. And she would just be on the side like, come to mama. She would take a moment when after cut and be like, let it out, let it out. And I was like, wait, this is strange because I wasn't used to that. You know, a lot of times you're looked at as like you're a machine. Just turn it on. They don't realize that you have to go through a process. Things may stay with you. But she got that, right? She was just so nurturing.
And I would even add also another layer to that, in addition to her nurturing nature in this time that we're in, we're speaking of just a moment ago. She is a woman who is incredibly qualified to sit in that chair. She has graduated from the top, arguably, university in filmmaking in the country. So she has not only the desire and the passion and the creative ability to tell story, but she actually possesses the technical skill set that's required for directing as well, which makes her capable of thoughtfully, artistically, and effectively tell story. She was just an absolute joy, and I hope that more women, particularly Black women, women of color, are given the opportunity to display and exercise those skill set as she had in this film.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful thing to see her because she is a woman who does not necessarily come in with bluster and bravado and things like that. Oftentimes we think of directors, but oftentimes we think of that because we think of male directors.
That's right.
And so Tina comes in and she has this lovely way of comporting herself. And that nurturing spirit does come through. And of course, you, Aunjanue, you just worked with Ava, Origin, which was a tour de force film.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So for you, having had the pleasure of working with these Black female directors, how's it been to have to go back the other way? What's it like when you have to then go and show up for male directors or white male directors?
First of all, I'm happy to get a job.
I know that's
you know
right.
what I mean? Just, I just echo, unfortunately, I amen a woman what Sanaa said. It is so rare to have the experience of working with a Black woman director, and also to echo what Uzo said, is it's ludicrous that it is that way, because they are extraordinary. They're artistic. Their visions as artists, their vision as artists, is unparalleled, and unparalleled because they bring something to the table that other folks don't. I think that it is a certain kind of eye that Black women have, particularly. It's a certain kind of humanity that they bring, and so it to work with them means that your work will be elevated. And so that there's all those parts, and so to work with Ava, and then I actually worked with Tina first, and then I worked with Ava. But the thing about Tina, because I'm gonna keep it on message with Tina, yes, nurturing, just the notes that she gave, but the way that she conducted her set, wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah.
Just I want to talk about that. It was because I think you're right. Dudes bring bluster, they bring testosterone, and they become tyrants for some reason. And she's very democratic. She's very respectful of everyone. I feel.
Did you feel like
no
you
matter
guys were
what
able to
job
play?
you had?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's important to know.
100%.
Do you feel like you guys had the opportunity to kind of play and explore and kind of take certain liberties? I know you guys are all consummate professionals, but there are some sets that are a little more collaborative than others. And would you say that this was one of those?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have enough time, and that's a whole nother story about
Budgets.
what kind exactly.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you.
But so we didn't have a lot of time, but she did carve out time so that we could really talk about this friendship and kind of come up with some backstory, especially with our younger counterparts. And we did rehearse a couple scenes.
Wow.
So that on the day we were,
Juicy.
Yes,
and
exactly.
ready to drop in, right? Yeah.
I love that word. That's right. Drop in.
I'm a young actress myself.
That's right.
I'm an ingenue. No, not the ingenue. Okay, wait. Let me get back
Ingenue
to
is not an ingenue.
But ingenue, wait, that is just so kismet that that's your name,
Right?
I mean, that you
Born,
became,
anointed.
destiny.
It was goddess.
It's quite.
But I remember before the film came out. I don't know if you guys realize this, because I know you guys don't really pay too much attention to social media, because you can't really, because of the work that you do, because it can consume you. But when they showed the flashback scenes, people were like, oh Lord, another slave movie. Because for some reason, whenever Black people see, a certain Black person sees a throwback, a flashback to like the civil rights,
Any decade.
they equate that with slavery, which is so weird because it's 100 years difference.
Yeah.
But for some reason they like, I don't want to see another slave movie.
That's hilarious.
But I'm happy to report that then I went on social media to check out the human reviews, because you guys got great reviews from the professionals, but the human
I like
reviews.
that you call them human reviews.
Yeah, like, because the other people, you're like, okay, y'all. There may not have been for you, critic, but for the people, folks are like, oh my gosh, I laughed and I cried, and that's something that I really enjoyed too, and that I didn't expect was the humor. And Aunjanue, you're very funny in this film, which yes, you are. You're deadpan. You're like, you give off stares. And you're doing things in this film that I've never really seen you do before. It feels like you had, even though you had such gravitas and you had a very heavy, solid role to play, you also felt a little lighter. Did you feel that lightness?
That scared the crap out of me. The crap out of me, because it's not a muscle that I necessarily work. And I felt like, I feel like you try to not try to bring humor, but life is funny.
Yeah.
Life is just funny, and if you don't have that availability to that, the life being freaking funny, you're not being honest. So, but this film would not have worked if we did not invest in the humor, right? So that made me really, really nervous. So I'm glad was okay. It
It's
was
good.
More
alright.
than okay.
We love to see it. But also you're funny in real life and you have great joy in your real life. So it was pleasant to see you like that on screen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't get a lot of time to rehearse. We just the young women. Shout out to Kiana Younger. They had a little more time to kind of get to know each other and that kind of thing. We came in.
Yes.
We had to do our job. And it was real hot in that Earl's.
It sure was.
It was hot as I don't know what.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
y'all shot in North Carolina, which is great that you
Yeah.
guys were able to
Yeah.
at least shoot on in location,
Yep.
and have to be on somebody's set, which I think would not have given the story, because the background actually becomes a character too. The South,
Absolutely, yeah.
and you do
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
the heat permeating. And
Well, it was really there.
that was really there. It was really there. You know what else I really enjoyed is that the opening scene transports you to the South immediately,
Opening scene.
and for me, it called up Zora Neale Hurston.
Yes,
folklore.
I love Zora.
And I love that we touched on Black African American folklore. That was something very important to me because I don't think we do enough of that. We've moved so far away from it, and we forget how mystical we all are. We forget that we
good,
all have
Bevy.
this intuition
Oh,
and
absolutely.
these innate things that are visceral.
In the book, so the book was one, I read it right before we started shooting, and it's such a great book for anybody who still reads. Check it out after you see the movie or
Right,
before.
yes.
And I laughed and cried. It was one of those books that I was sad was over, but there's a whole element in it that they didn't put in the movie.
Not enough time.
Of her mother, who had passed on, who was there with her throughout the whole movie, and she would speak to her, and she would guide her through the movie, and that was one of the things that just took the book to a whole nother level.
Yes.
But I get you can't get everything in a
Yeah,
movie, so
no. But Uzo, perfectionist. I mean, and you're Nigerian, yes?
Yes.
Perfectionist.
Yeah.
Okay.
𝒜𝓁𝓁 𝒜𝓊𝓃𝓊𝓄𝒏.
Right.
Yes.
So reasons perfectionist.
Yes.
So was that for you? Did you just tap into? Because I know you've been a lot more forgiving with yourself. You have a new memoir that's coming out this fall.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's really exciting.
Thank you.
And so
What's the name of it?
yes, what's
It's
the name?
called
Tell
The
us.
Road is Good, which is my name in English. Yes,
love that.
𝒜𝓁𝓁𝓃 is my whole name, and it means the road is good.
All right now.
I love it.
And it has a lot to do with your beautiful mother,
Yeah.
who instilled a real sense of pride in you and sense of self and
Yes.
and all that. And Clarice needed some of that
Mm.
because she did not have that. A lot of that was absent in her life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I think there is a generation of women who sacrificed their dreams for the good of the family, the good of love. I know women like that anyway in my life. Aunties, mothers, cousins, sisters. I've had stories of women who have deferred their own dreams in the hopes of something else being poured back into them, and unfortunately perhaps not being met with the same measure with which they gave. And my dream and hope for women today is that they hold fast to their own dreams, and do what it is that makes their life full. My signature on my email is go and enjoy. That's how my
Yes.
email ends, to enjoy your life.
Yes.
You know,
That's powerful.
Yeah.
because we have to remind ourselves of that
Yeah.
in this day and age.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do,
Hustle
right?
culture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. To
Yeah,
enjoy
well,
life. Life
yeah.
is to be enjoyed. And I think, this season that we're in, and that's the beauty of, I hope anyway, this film and its timing, it has that heart, it has that warmth. And even though she maybe had a season of her life where she hadn't fulfilled the promise of why she was meant to be, thank goodness for the friends and the women in her life who bring her back
Yes.
to her
Who
center.
remind her.
Remind her who she is in
Yes.
the world.
Hold up a mirror to her.
That's
yes?
right. That's
That's
right.
what good sister friends do. They hold up that
That's
mirror
that
to you.
truth. That's that
And sometimes
truth.
you get a man to do that, and that's a beautiful thing. But more often than not, it's your sister girls that do it for you.
That's right.
You know.
Yes.
And again, that's why this is a love story between friends. Barbara Jean. Ooh, Sanaa. Now you called her a hot mess. I wasn't gonna call her a hot mess, but you called her.
But then I
Yeah,
added.
you did, and then you add but just and. Go on, Barbara
Yes.
Jean.
Yes, I mean, she's one of those people who, sometimes you look at people's lives. I mean, I don't think anybody escapes pain
Yeah.
or trauma. That's just who we are, as humans. But there are some people where you're like, damn, like why do they have to go through that? She had one of those lives where she was born into a very toxic environment and then had trauma after trauma after trauma, and did what a lot of people do. A lot of people in my family did, and what I did for a period in my life was self-medicate to numb that pain and that grief and that depression. And so for me, that really struck home because, I was saying earlier that I recently did Finding Your Roots, and I knew that there were people in my family that struggled with addiction, but I didn't know, like, I had like ancestors that had died from it, like a couple generations. And I was lucky that, the generation close to me broke the cycle and I was able to see that, so that when I was kind of going through a hard time with it, I had in the back of my head, he stopped it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And so it was beautiful for me to play this character and kind of, that's the beauty of being an actor, is that you can use the pain in your life, and it can be very cathartic when you act. And so it was a joy to play her. And thankfully she had these friends who confronted her. I love that scene.
Yeah. Oh my God, that scene is knockdown, drag out, baby.
Like, I wish I could be a fly on the wall in the theater in that scene.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. No, that's a really powerful scene, and everybody needed a strong talking to. And I don't even know who was the victor in that scene. I was like trying to figure out.
Well, she won at the end. She won at the end.
Well, she fell down.
Exactly.
Yes.
They all got
That
it.
immediately stopped it.
They all got it. And that's also, again, friendship, right?
Yes.
And that's the humanity of true friendship.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I'm a Scorpio, so I'm like very blunt a lot of the times, and people don't necessarily like that. They don't enjoy that.
But it's loving, though. I think that tough love, sometimes you need that. It's better than somebody who won't ever say anything.
Wow.
That's what I think. Tell them again, Sanaa. Tell the people that say. But I did have to curtail it a bit, because I was like, now if everybody's showing up crying all the time after leaving you, no, that ain't good either.
You're like one of those stingers, those people that just sting you all the time.
Stingers. I had to temper myself. But it's true. We all need that, and that again is one of those things in this film that you'll be reminded of, and just like when you watch Sex in the City, or just like when you watch Waiting to Exhale, we all will be able to see ourselves. But what I found in this film is that I saw myself in each and every one of them.
Yes.
That's good.
There have been times. I definitely Barbara Jean hot mess. Oh.
Yes, but that isn't, you don't regret. Once you get through that,
Yes.
you don't regret that.
No.
Like, you've lived a colorful, amazing life, and sometimes you had some really hard times, some low times, but it's a beautiful painting.
Yes.
That's how
It's
I
a
see it.
journey, and that's what the film is. It's a real journey. And the thing I also appreciate is that this is an important film for women of all ages and races. And I want to, and I always say this because my show is very diverse. And when I say diverse, I mean white people listen to it too.
Right,
I don't mean this, because people automatically assume it's like, oh, it's a black girl show because I have so much black content, but it's really a diverse audience. And I always tell my audience, please, this is for you too. And I want to remind y'all, this is for y'all too. Stream it on Hulu, because it's really. It's not colorblind, because it is very specifically black, but there are lessons in it for every single one, but also the age diversity in it as well. The young women who play your younger selves are incredible.
Yeah.
Did you
Yes,
have
they
an
are.
opportunity to work with them at all? I know you guys never did scenes together, but did you visit them on set? I know you guys were super busy, but tell us a little bit about your younger selves and the connections.
We did have the opportunity, to Zoom beforehand with them and just chat about not only the character, but then it just kind of like diving in and getting to know each other. And then while down in and even after we finished shooting, we've had like dinners and conversation. Just they are the most lovely, and
Yes.
I know we all. I hope and I feel like we can say that we all feel this way. They are such incredible actors,
Yes.
as well as incredible young women who comport themselves well and have such a real love for this thing of art making and a real talent for it, and they are really quite exceptional, and the bond that exists between them is also stellar to watch. So it was a real treat to just get to be around them and get to know. They're awesome.
Yeah.
It was funny because it was almost like two different films being shot. So they shot, Tina didn't intertwine, which I think was kind of good.
Yeah.
She shot all of the flashback stuff first. And then we literally came in on their last day.
Yeah.
And they were like, please come to dinner with us. We went to dinner. And then they were like, come on, let's go to the club. Let's celebrate. We're like, no, honey.
Right. The club ain't going, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
The energy level, like, I feel like, I mean, everybody knows my age is online, but I still feel the same age. But then when you get around them and they're just like little puppies. They're just so energetic and so joyful.
Yes,
and they
the
have so much,
sweetest.
Until you said,
It's a different world. I really love Kiana Younger.
Yeah.
I really we had shrimp tacos on Sunday, and she drove me around in a green Jeep and
Green Jeep.
Yeah, what is it called?
Yes.
The slime.
The slime or something.
Yeah.
That car.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I would be remiss if we didn't mention your actual love interest in the film.
Oh, yes. Thank
right?
you, ma'am. Thank you.
Curtis Vondi Hall.
Legend.
Vondi Curtis.
Yes.
Vondi Curtis.
Vondi.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Legend.
Yes.
A legend.
Legend.
Beautiful
on.
man.
One of the best to do it.
Yes. Beautiful man, beautiful artist. Sanaa, what was that like working with him?
I mean, it was amazing. We didn't really have much, but you know, when you work with somebody who, first of all, I've known him my whole life. Casey Lemons.
Yep.
I've worked with her, I've known her. So they feel like, you know, just navigating through this business for all these years, even if you're not close with somebody, I feel like an affection towards them. And so with him, it was just, he's just so good. We didn't even have to do any prep. It was just there. You know, with some people, it was just there. So that was really, it was really a treat to get to work with him.
Russell Hornsby. Okay. So you know he's in a show where he's a philanderer.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, he's in the 50
the
Cent
BMF?
the BMF show.
I don't
He's
know
a
if that's-
philanderer in that show. And so online, people is like, there he go. Because there he is again, being a philanderer with Clarice. Yeah, you know the people going to tie it
That's
together.
funny. That's funny. Well, he is not in real life. He is desperately in love with his wife. Let me set the record straight.
That's why he's a good actor. Right?
Let me set that record straight.
Yeah.
He is a joy and an actor I hold in the
he's
highest
such a joy.
esteem. He is such a gifted talent, such a easy spirit to be around. And, you know, he has numerous credits to his name in terms of his gifts, whether it's screen or on stage. And the breadth of it is very, very wide. And it was just a real joy to work with him here. And I have to give an extra special shout out because we both went to the same alma. Shout out BU.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
BU, you know.
You know.
We can't steal that from you. You know we be
You about to
say
make
it
people
too.
mad.
Exactly. You already know.
Yeah.
Well, you about to make people mad, kissing all over Mekhi Phifer and
Listen, the folks are loving Mekhi Phifer in this. They
Yes.
people love
Yes.
James.
Yes.
They love
Yes.
James.
Yes.
My sister was like, "Oh, I love James. I love James." He's just what he is on screen is a reflection of, I feel, what he is in real life.
I agree.
Just big-hearted, generosity just flows out of him.
Yeah.
You know, when in some of the scenes that we did, well, one of the major scenes that we did, you know, I walked into the space and he was just sitting there, and it was just like this aura around him. And I don't mean it in the way folks be talking about aura. I mean, but there is just something that that covered him, but it also made space for me.
Yeah.
And it steadies you. Yes.
Come on, there you go.
It steadies you.
Steady. Oh, and I'm sure my coworkers will speak to this, that sometimes it can be rare that men will allow themselves or permit themselves that vulnerability,
Or
He
even
was
to
just-
be a supporting player.
That's right.
Because they have
That's
their
right.
careers in their own right. Even the fact that Russell and him and Vondi chose to be a part of this in support of
Yes,
us.
right.
You'd be surprised that there's a lot of people who won't do that.
It's true. And they're all
man,
real
you're
stars in their own right.
That's
It's
right.
so true.
Exactly.
You know, I didn't even think of it
Women
that
do
way.
it all the time.
Yeah,
All the
women do it
time.
all the time. You'll see some big name
To
being
its
in
home.
support to a man all day, every day, but you very rarely see men who have big, solid careers.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Do that. So kudos to them, and
Yes.
kudos to Tina for
Yeah.
you know. Again, like I just love that we had a chance to talk about Black love and it not just be a sad story and negative. And even Clarissa's story is not negative at the end. She finds herself.
Yeah.
Finds herself.
She finds herself and she lays down the law.
That's exactly right. I think that's true for each of these women.
Yeah.
You know, these what we were saying. Is life has so many different modulations as you live it, and I think the beautiful thing at the end of this film is that we find our way through it if we go through it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, she has her struggle, and her struggle is real, and it has size to it. But thank goodness, because of her fellow Supremes, that sisterhood, that sister friends who are there to be the branch to pull her out. You realize the message, I think, if you know, at the end of the film, of like, there's hope. It's a hopeful one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did you learn from the film, from either the process of it or just even from your character? Is there something in particular that you take away? Because I know oftentimes actors take a little talisman from a shoot or something, and oftentimes it's something physical. But I would think you would also take something from every single one of your characters. What'd you take away?
For me, I think it served as an affirmation to enjoy one's life, that where you are now is not the final destination, and that there is choice in there is space in choosing your dreams, you know. That I think that's it for me. I think that was the main takeaway for me, was to enjoy your life and love your friends.
Yeah.
That
It's so simple, but yet it's so hard to
It's-
do that. Like, you have to really be intentional
Oh,
That's right.
about that.
that's
That's
right.
the
Yeah.
word, intentional, right?
And that you can't get through life alone.
Yeah.
Also.
No man's an island. I say
No,
that all
yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't coin that, obviously.
Yes, you did. Didn't you? I mean,
girl. I copyrighted it. That's damn right.
the attribution is always a Bevy Smith. I mean, I just.
Yeah.
As one does.
said
What'd you
that.
learn from Barbara Jean? What'd you take away from her?
I think that I don't know. What did I take? I think it just there is a pride that I have that I didn't acknowledge what I've been through and me getting over that and through that. So it's almost like in hindsight, like I feel good. I feel proud of myself. And
As well you should, by the way.
yeah.
I mean, come
As
on.
well you should. As well you should. 'Cause
Yes.
You know what? It's interesting because you're a very private person, but you've given us glimpses throughout the years of the human that you are. And when you cut off all your hair that time, that was like really big and bold. I know it was for bold, but still, you know,
Yeah.
folks don't be doing that. So I think you should be proud of yourself and the way that you've grown up in this industry and still managed to keep yourself grounded. We just had a dinner. You had your friends with you.
Yep.
And so you've done a lot of good stuff. And
Thank
so
you. I work
kudos.
hard on it.
I know you do.
I work
know you do.
hard. I have to. There's a whole therapy. I have tools. I have to in order to just be. Let's just not only to just persevere in this life and business, but to be happy and do it, because there's two different things.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. And so we talked about this earlier about how you know, we as Black women have to be so strong. We've been taught that, and we've had to for centuries. And we keep things in, and we don't, you know, process a lot of the shit we go through, and that can cause disease. So for me, it is a priority. You know what I mean? It is a priority for my life.
Yes.
And so anyway, that was that was what I took away.
That's what you took away. And Aunjanue, what you gained from your Odette?
We realized this in our junket the other day, is that we didn't really think about it while we were doing it, you know, because we were a little bit in like, we gotta meet these days, meet these days, you know, so we were just kind of in hustle mode a little bit. But now we're having conversations about it. We can reflect on it. You know, I see a lot of, I'm being convicted a little bit about, you know, who Odette is, and seeing a little bit of myself in it, and just feeling like, you know, I need to allow myself to be fragile a little bit with the people in my life, and not feel like I gotta be, you know, a rock all the time.
That's right.
Yes.
All the time.
There's such freedom and vulnerability,
Right.
right? And we
Liberation in it.
Liberation in it.
Yes.
And there's also and we mentioned hustle a couple of times. I just want to stop down and say that, you know, that's the devil's work. We were not put here to hustle. I said, you know, I don't know.
Wait,
Brian.
and I see you on Instagram
And-
all hustling
No,
all
I
day
don't.
long and
No,
looking beautiful.
When I tell you, Sanaa, when I
I'm
tell
like,
you,
well, where did she get her energy?
I got a lot of energy because I rest so much.
Yeah.
And just
Right.
real talk. It looks like I work a lot, but literally, like, I ain't doing nothing for the rest of the day.
I love it.
I tell you, I'm
it.
smoking a cigarette, which I
That's-
don't smoke.
Right.
I'm literally going to see my trainer, and then I'm
Yes.
gonna go home and I'm gonna chillax.
Okay,
and then
good.
tomorrow I get on the aeroplane. Anyway, I just came from vacation, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yesterday I
Okay.
was on the beach.
Yep.
So life's
you
a beach.
do
I feel
work
that. I
hard.
feel that joy from you.
Yeah.
I feel
You
that.
think I work hard?
Yeah, you do work hard.
I think I try
It's
to
just
do a good
another
job.
way. It's another way
Yeah.
of working.
Yes.
Right.
Which is what
You're
I
doing it the
admire,
right
Yeah.
way.
And I give myself a lot of
yeah.
space to just be.
That's
so
right.
It's
good.
very
That's
important to
right.
just be.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that as Black women.
Yes.
You know, rest is imperative.
It is so
my
imperative.
girl Trisha Hershey, rest is resistance. That's her movement. And it's so very true.
So true.
And we have to do it. And so we should not be hustling. We should not be grinding. Only grinding I want to do is on a good man. That's it. That's it. And watching a
Or a
good
good
film,
woman,
like
whatever you
The
like.
Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat, which is streaming now on Hulu.
That's
Number
right.
one in the country, y'all. So make it number one for weeks and months on end,
I
right?
love it.
Thank you so much, guys. It was such a pleasure talking to
You're
each of
so
you
amazing.
amazing
Thank
artists.
you.
Love you.
Love you.
We
And I
love
want
you
you-
too.
Well, thank you. And I want you all to come back whenever you have any projects. Revelations is here waiting for you.
Love it.
Revelation.
Revelation. All right, lovers. I'm Bevy Smith. This has been Revelations. As always, ciao for now and cheers to the queers.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you guys so much.